Here's a great idea. I should interview my daughter Twila on the podcast. Surely she would be nice to me.
Hi, I'm Twila, and you're tuned into Climate Action Figures.
Well, hello and welcome to a, oh boy, deep breath, unique edition of Climate Action Figures. More on that in a moment. My name is John Whidden, and this week on the show you get to meet Twila. But first, this week's Quick Fix, and we always love to hear your quick fixes, so please send them in via social media or our email address, climateactionfigures@gmail.com. This week's Quick Fix comes from Twila. And Twila sent in these cards, I love my planet. And the card today says, adopt, don't shop. Did you know you can adopt pets? This means saving them from an animal shelter, and it's a kind way to give them a home. You can adopt cats, dogs, and even guinea pigs and roosters. So thanks to Twila for that quick fix. Welcome, Twila.
What a great quick fix, and it's very relevant. I adopted this little bean a couple of years ago, and actually just earlier today I was at our local shelter, the Medicine Hat SPCA, walking some lovely puppies. Honestly, the people that work there are doing such amazing work, and those animals are so well cared for. I'm sure you can find a way to volunteer at your local shelter as well if you're interested, but it's such a good way to give back to these animals.
Well, that's perfect that it's one that you like, because you're the one who gave me these cards for Christmas, and we've used them before on the program, so that's why we were using them today as the quick fix.
Perfect. I love that.
Now, normally a guest comes onto my radar, I see something on the news about them, or someone contacts me and says you should really have this climate activist from India on your program. This particular guest, Twila, was recommended by several people, thanks to Camille and Cassandra specifically, who told me that we definitely needed to have you on the program. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, part of the reason that they recommended her is that they know Twila is environmentally aware, right, Twila?
I think I'm genetically predisposed to be environmentally aware. Didn't really have a choice there.
So let's start there. We usually wrap up with the guest's climate action, but just to be different today, let's start with your climate action.
Yeah, so there are several things that I do. I think your influence has definitely seeped into various areas of my life, and I do things from like just not running the sink and not using water unnecessarily to thrift shopping. I try to grow my own plants and herbs. What else? Oh, I am a little bit insane because I have a bucket in my shower. Every time I turn it off or every time I run it to heat it up, I feel like it's just a huge waste of clean water. So I catch it all in a bucket, and then I use that water to water my plants, and then I'm not wasting any of that clean water, and it feels really good.
I don't even do that.
Yes, that's why I said I'm insane.
And you said your sink, your kitchen sink? What do you do there?
Not my kitchen sink. If I am running water there, I'll usually have a cup that I kind of catch it with, and then I'll water usually this tree with it.
Okay, so lots of water recycling in your house.
Yes. I was very grateful that my family sponsored me to get solar panels on my house, so I am taking the energy of the sun and using that to power things in my home. I take like reusable bags with me to the grocery store. I always have my reusable cup. Another thing I found is that your influence through me, so kind of my influence or your grand influence, has really extended through the people in my life. My partner has become more environmentally aware. My friends have become more kind of like aware of their impact on the environment. And even my best friend always says like, oh, what would John think if she gets something that's very plasticky or all that? Or she's like, oh my gosh, John's gonna kill me. Or like, I'm gonna get disowned. But
I don't judge, Adriana. I don't judge.
How did you know?
Now, the other big reason Cassandra and Camille, and several others, by the way, thought you would be a great guest is the opportunity to debrief some of the environmental aspects of our past together.
The trauma?
I guess some people might call it that. They were probably hoping some funny aspects of my past would be revealed, so I guess we have to go here now, don't we? On that topic, your grandmother, Barbara, has given us a few suggested questions, so I guess we're going to go there next, right? Grandma Barbara asks first, what was it like growing up in your household, Twila? Were you cold all the time in your house?
Absolutely. It was freezing. I don't think our thermostat ever went above 17. And if we ever were cold and complained, the response that we got was, put on a coat, put on a toque. And I mean, look, he's still doing it. So I bet your house is at 17.5.
I don't think I ever told you. I didn't tell you had to wear a toque and a coat in the house. Revisionist history?
Beg to differ.
17? Oh, boy. I mean, that's what I keep our house
Maybe
at during
18.
the day here. But okay, well, I'll give you 18. Second question from Grandma Barbara. Was your dad as concerned about the environment when you were younger?
I would say you've always been very environmentally aware. Like growing up, we always had one vehicle and you would bike to school. I think you skied once.
Oh boy, that was a disaster. Let's just go there for a second, just so people don't think I was like a regular cross-country skier to school. It was a snow day, so most of the kids were not at school. It was about a 4-kilometer bike normally to school, and I thought, why don't I cross-country ski to school?
Why not?
Well, I got to school and I was a big sweaty mess, and I was about half an hour late. But fortunately, I had called by then, and they knew that I was going to be coming in a little late. So, anyways, that was an interesting experiment.
You definitely built things into, like, we always composted when I was younger, and then as you knew more and kind of understood more and learned how to be more environmentally friendly.
I have to say, though, that I just looked at a photo from when you were 3 years old, and we were at a restaurant with some friends, and there was a stack of styrofoam takeout containers. And I looked at that and I thought, that tells me something about me, 20 some years ago, because I would not take styrofoam now. I would just, I don't know what I would do, stuff myself with the leftovers, because I wouldn't leave food behind. But no, we would always just take our own containers now.
Yes.
And reuse.
And growing up, I would be ashamed of you grabbing the Tupperware and bringing it out in a restaurant. I would just be like, please, nobody, I'm not here. And
you mean when we brought our own?
Yes, yeah, when I was like in elementary or junior high. It was like, oh my gosh, we're the only people with Tupperware, like, But
well, and when you're in junior high, a parent's job is to embarrass you, isn't it?
Exactly.
And now who brings the reusable containers more often than not? Twila. Okay. Anyways, the good point that we all change over time and nobody's perfect, and we make better choices as we go, right? Mm-hmm. Or so the hope goes.
Exactly.
Next question. You did a lot of outdoor activity when you were younger. How did all those things affect how you are these days?
I would say that I gained a lot more respect and appreciation for the environment. I think that we also did a lot of things outside. We would go hiking and camping, and I got to see a lot of just like natural beauty and some of the animals even, and really got to see what I was helping to protect. Because once, like, if you're just stuck in the city, it can be really sometimes tough to remember that there's so much beauty in nature outside of our concrete oasis.
Very good points. Next question. What do you remember growing up in terms of being environmentally aware?
Well, the first most prominent thing I remember was being bribed to walk to school. And would you like to, I think you know the reward, but for everyone else, the reward was one dinner out at the end of the year for walking to and from school every day.
Okay. Speaking of revisionist history, here was the deal. It was a kilometer to school. You had a bunch of little buddies who you liked to walk with. And we're like, if they walk together, they'll all be safe and they can cross the busy street together. And
we won't have to drive them.
And sometimes we can join them. No, it really was. All the parents were thinking it would be good if we didn't, all drive our kids to school, which, I see people driving their kids to school all the time. And I think They miss out on the responsibility of walking and the excitement of being on your own and all those kind of things, as well as the fuel that's used. Plus, then we didn't have to drive you. This is true. Cold weather. So there was a certain number of trips, which I believe was 20. I'm quite certain because we'd chalk those up on the paper. And then when we got to 20, the parents took you all out for lunch, and that was a pretty exciting event. So that's the way that worked. I think that's a pretty good deal.
I don't think it was 20.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was way more than that. It was like once a semester.
Okay, I'll give you once a semester. But that's because sometimes some people wouldn't walk, and then...
That's not my fault!
You had to do your part to get your lunch. But it was fun, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah, admit it. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
You were getting sleepy. Do you remember it being
was
fun
so
now,
fun.
Twila? Excellent. Those are not the droids you're searching for.
Oh boy.
Okay, next.
I will speak on behalf of my sister for this one, and I will raise her grievance to the public. Father also bribed us to hang our clothes, and not only that, to hang dry our clothes instead of using the dryer machine. On top of that, him and my sister spent Lord knows how many hours and brain power calculating how many freaking kilowatts of energy one dryer load was and how many cents that equaled from our power bill so that my sister could get, 2 cents per load? And I think she made a grand total of $4, and she hang dried her laundry for like 4 years. So.
And her clothes lasted a lot longer, didn't they?
No, she never learned how to empty her lid trap and almost put her apartment on fire. Her first apartment, she almost lit on fire.
Yeah, she didn't clean the lint trap because she didn't know that you had to clean the lint trap. So, true that. But we did calculate that one, so it was fair. She got all the money from the energy she saved by hanging her clothes to dry. So that seems like a fair deal. And it seems to me it was more like 20 cents per load, I think. Well, whatever it added up to cash that she got to keep. So I think that's a pretty fair deal.
I don't think she would say it was worth it in the end, but...
Well, she does hang dry her clothes now.
Yes, that is true.
Shout out to Alita.
Mm-hmm.
And now, the moment I have been dreading, the segment of Climate Action Figures this special week where my daughter asks me questions and I have no idea, was not allowed to find out the questions ahead of time. Are we ready?
Number 1. This is an estimation question. How many years off of my life have you shaved with your eco shenanigans?
I would say I've added years to your life because you're so much healthier and have such a great respect for the environment now. Next question.
Oh my goodness. Question number 2. This is another estimation one, bit of a calculation one. How many miles in total have you run in order to get Tupperware?
Tupperware meaning reusable containers for the supper, right?
Yes. Either to purchase or to get them from the car or from home.
Yeah, there were actually a couple of times when I walked or ran, probably more correctly, to the nearest store where we can buy reusable containers so that we didn't have to do takeout containers. I'm going to say a total of 4 kilometers.
That's way too low.
Well, most of the trips were just out to the car because we left them in the car. So there weren't that many times I actually went and bought new containers. Maybe 2 or 3 times, I think.
That's fair.
But I did run out to the car quite often. And now your mother, Colleen, always brings the containers. She makes sure that they're with us. And so we just go in with our little bag of containers, and any restaurant that we've been to, they always say, "Oh, you've got your containers again." But they all love it. It's great. So,
yeah,
and
them money too.
Oh, sure. And then we're not throwing out all those containers, right? Okay, well, so far I'm not sweating too much. Next question.
Okay. How many birds do you think have benefited from your dinners cooling outside?
Oh, that's a nasty question. Okay, backstory here. folks, is that, yes, okay, my theory is this. You make let's say, a big pot of stew, and you have this big pot of stew, and it's super hot, and you've eaten it and enjoyed your supper, and now it's still super hot. So you put it in a container and put it in the fridge, and while the fridge has to work all night to cool, because it's at, such a warm temperature. My theory is put it outside the door so that it cools outside in the natural winter weather in the winter. Even in the summer, usually by the end of supper time, it's cool enough that it can cool for a while. Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of times that one's come back to bite me, because only maybe 3 or 4 times I've gone out and it's clear that some bird or other animal has, I think a cat once, had made its way into the dinner, and that one we were like, I guess we better throw it out, which was tragedy, of course. I know. Well, composted. But a couple of times when there's been beak marks in the whatever, then we've just kind of, scooped the beak mark part out and eaten the rest. And hey, we're still alive. Share with the other natural animals, right?
That actually leads me perfectly into my next question, which is, have you picked up any rare avian diseases?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, good.
Here's another one that's worked, actually. Our garage in the winter is very cool. It's not heated, but it's insulated. So it's pretty much fridge temperature. So often in the winter, we will put the leftovers out, sometimes in the whole pot, and just throw them in the garage. And then by morning, they're fridge temperature. And then we put them in containers and put them in the fridge. No energy used. Oh, bingo. Okay, next question.
That's all I have for you.
Oh, that wasn't so difficult or traumatic, as you would say.
Not like my childhood.
We're going to wrap things up, but usually this is where we ask for the guests' climate action. You've shared yours. Did you miss any, though?
Oh, the one that I was thinking of that I hadn't shared earlier is typically when I do take my car out, aside from driving to and from work, I usually try to do a couple of things in one trip. So I usually try to not just go to the grocery store and home. I usually try to hit the grocery store and something else, or a couple of things, just to make the trip worthwhile.
That's a great suggestion.
Just
something
a
that
little
people
thing.
can do. Last question, Twila. What gives you hope?
Ooh, lots of different things. I see lots of other people doing little actions, seeing my friends kind of adjust their ways and become more environmentally friendly. And then a lot of our youth are moving towards understanding and appreciating that we need to do a lot better than how we're currently doing if we want to preserve this planet, which I really appreciate and gives me a lot of hope for our future.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and revealing so many fascinating aspects of our past together.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, dear listener or viewer. We'd love to hear from you, so if you have something to say about what you've heard on the program or seen here, please drop us a line via social media or email. We will be back again next week, same time, same place, to hear from another climate action figure. Until then,
go figures!
This has been Climate Action Figures. Our show is produced and hosted by John Whidden. Our creative consultant is Kayla McIntosh. Our theme song is Hawaii Vacation by Tavari. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Climate Action Figures. That's all one word. And if you have any other questions or comments that arose from this or any episode, feel free to reach out to us at climateactionfigures@gmail.com. And thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another Climate Action Figure.